Welcome to our channel. In this video, I am going to explain the movie titled Max, released in the year 2015. The movie begins with an introduction about dogs used in the First World War. Then it flashes to present, mentioning that over 3,000 dogs served in the US military forces in the recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Then a well-trained army dog, Max, is seen leading a group of US soldiers to a village in Afghanistan. While the villagers are protesting against soldiers' arrival, Max and his handler, Kyle, enter a house, where Max starts continuously smelling over a carpet. On removing the carpet, a hidden compartment of weapons and ammunition is found, proving that the villagers are selling illegal ammunition. In the evening, Kyle returns to his base and talks to his parents back home, Mother Pamela and Father Ray. Ray is also a retired US military officer. Both Pamela and Ray seem to love Max and they treat him like a family member. But Kyle's brother, Justin, does not seem to be fond of dogs. He also does not like his father's restrictions on him. Justin is mostly seen playing video games. He also pirates those games and sell in his friend circle. In the next scene, Kyle is called by his superior, who tells him that some guns are missing from the weapons they confiscated from the village, and that he doubts someone from Kyle's group is stealing the weapons. When Kyle confronts his group, he comes to know that his best friend Tyler is the one doing this. However, to save their friendship, he decides to give Tyler a chance. The next day, Kyle and his group go on another mission. While leading them, Max stops in the way, as if he has suspected something wrong. In the meantime, Kyle confronts Tyler that he knows about his illegal business of smuggling weapons. But instead of regret, Tyler asks Kyle to keep quiet and focus on the mission. Then Tyler orders Max to keep going, because of which, Max runs into a trap, causing a number of explosions around Max. Kyle runs to save his beloved dog, asking Tyler to provide him cover. But Tyler leaves him alone and hides in a safe place. Thus, Kyle is killed in the shootout. In the next scene, military officials visit Kyle's house to inform his family about his death. The sad news leaves the whole family devastated. Afterwards, the family goes to a church to perform the last rites for Kyle. Max is also brought there. He also seems very emotional on having lost his master and silently sits beside his coffin. After the ceremony, when the officials try to take Max away to their military base, he does not obey and retaliates. Since the dog recognizes Justin, he approaches him, believing that he will take care of him like Kyle did. But sadly, Justin accompanies the officials and helps them put Max inside a police van to take him to Military Dog Center. The next day, while playing video games, Justin starts recalling memories of his late brother. Then he visits Kyle's room and goes through his pictures and other belongings. In the meantime, Ray also arrives there and tries to console him. Strangely, Justin gets angry and blames his father for Kyle's death. While they are arguing over the matter, Pamela approaches them to inform that the dog center officials are going to put Max down. Immediately, the family reaches the dog center to see Max. They meet one of the dog's caretakers, who informs them about Max being violent and out of control. He also states that Max has been traumatized because of Kyle's death and has started to react violently to any loud noise or person around him. But to everyone's surprise, as Justin enters the room, Max becomes silent and sits on the floor. Max also follows Justin's orders as he apparently senses Kyle-like features in him. Thus, the family decides to adopt Max. When Justin and the family return home with Max, Ray says they cannot take Max inside because he is too dangerous. Therefore, they tie him up outside the house. At night, Max starts continuously barking and howling, disturbing the family as well as their neighbors. Ray yells at Justin to silence Max. Justin wakes up half-heartedly and goes outside to calm down the dog. Predictably, Max becomes silent after seeing him. However, he does not allow Justin to leave afterward. Thus, Justin is compelled to accompany him like Kyle used to in the military camp. After Justin falls asleep, Max sits beside him and guards him the whole night. The next day, Justin goes to meet his friend Chewy, where he also comes across Chewy's cousin, Carmen, who seems to be fond of dogs. When Justin mentions that he is having trouble with his dog, Carmen offers to help him train his dog. In the following scene, Justin is seen getting ready for Carmen's arrival, putting on his best clothes to impress her. Soon, Carmen and Chewy arrive. Carmen teaches Justin some tricks about how to go near a dog and make him obey the commands. After some hours of training, Justin is finally able to make Max walk alongside him. Just then, Pamela approaches them and invites Chewy and Carmen to stay for dinner. During the dinner, Pamela talks about Kyle and starts crying, making everyone feel awkward. Outside, Max starts barking aggressively, and soon the doorbell rings. As Justin opens the door, he finds Tyler. The parents are happy to see their son's best friend. They inquire about the reason for his sudden return from the service. Tyler tells them that he was injured in a battle and has returned home for recovery. Hearing this, Ray invites Tyler to the July parade. Later, when the family takes Tyler to see Max, surprisingly, the dog becomes aggressive and starts barking. Max even breaks his chain and tries to attack Tyler. However, Justin and Carmen stop him in time. Here, we get to know that Max hasn't forgotten about Tyler's betrayal and is looking for an opportunity to take revenge. The next day, Justin takes Max to a bicycle park where he rides with his friends and Max follows him around. On return, Justin is surprised to find a cage in the yard. He asks Pamela, who tells him Ray made it for Max, so that he won't be able to attack people like he tried to attack Tyler. In the next scene, after locking Max in the cage, the whole family goes to July parade. While others stay to enjoy the fireworks, Justin realizes that Max is alone and returns. While home, he finds Max terrified because of the fireworks. Justin tries to take Max out of the cage, but the poor dog doesn't move at all. Thus, Justin himself enters the cage and sits beside Max to calm him down. The next day, Tyler comes to Ray requesting let him work in his warehouse during his vacations and Ray happily accepts his request. Later, while conversing, Ray asks Tyler about how his son died. Predictably, Tyler lies that Max was responsible for Kyle's death, as the dog disobeyed his orders and ran into the danger zone. On this, Ray becomes enraged and rushes home with the intention to release his anger on Max. He points gun at Max, but fortunately, Justin arrives in time and stops him. In the next scene, Justin visits the military dog center and meets one of Kyle's friends, Sergeant Reyes. Reyes tells him that Max is the best dog that has ever been trained in their facility. He assures him that Max could have never hurt Kyle. He also informs him that Tyler is actually suspended from his job. He provides him with a DVD containing videos of Kyle training Max. Afterwards, Justin visits Chewy's house and asks Carmen to watch the DVD with him. Seeing Max being friendly and obedient to Kyle in the video, Justin dismisses the doubts about Max turning up on Kyle. In the meantime, Chewy's cousin, Emilio, who is associated with a smuggling cartel, comes to meet Justin. He forces him to provide him a recently released game. During their conversation, Emilio receives a call from Tyler, which makes Justin suspicious. Therefore, as Emilio leaves, Justin along with Max start following him. They reach a place, in the woods, where he can see Emilio meeting Tyler. Soon, a group of Italian gangsters also arrive there, and it turns out that they want to buy weapons from Tyler. Here, Justin gets to know that Tyler is actually smuggling weapons from Afghanistan and selling them in the States. Meanwhile, the gangsters' dogs hear Max barking and run towards him. But despite being outnumbered, he defeats the two dogs and escapes with Justin. While running away, Justin bumps over a rock and his bicycle goes flying into a ditch. Thus, he is forced to run on foot through the dense forest. Luckily, they manage to reach the highway, where a gracious lady offers them a lift and drops them home. As Justin walks inside, he is surprised to see Tyler and his illegal business partner, Deputy Stack, talking with his mother. It turns out that Tyler discovered Justin's bicycle in the woods and concluded that he saw them making weapons deal. Meanwhile, Stack pretends having his hand wounded and claims that it is because of Max. He then tells Justin that he should take away Max as it is a danger for everyone. When Justin protests, Tyler asks to talk to him privately. He threatens him to keep his mouth shut. Scared for his family's safety, Justin agrees to let Max go. Soon, the dog center officials arrive and take Max away. In the next scene, Tyler returns to work, where Ray confronts him for using one of their storage units without any paperwork. Tyler lies that it is being used by his friend, but in reality, Tyler himself is using it to store weapons. Elsewhere, Max is brought to the dog's shelter but is very difficult to control. Later at night, Ray walks up to Justin and tries to strike up a conversation, but the latter remains silent. Ray quickly senses that his son is hiding something, thus he urges him to speak, but as Justin is fearful of Tyler, he does not reveal anything. Later, when Ray visits his storage units, he finds Tyler and Stack loading weapons in a truck. When he confronts them, Emilio holds him hostage. In the meantime, Pamela gets a mysterious voicemail from Ray, informing her that he will be staying the night in one of their hunting houses. The voicemail is mysterious for Pamela, because she does not recall owning any hunting house. Just then, Max reaches the house, and Justin and Pamela welcome him back happily. Justin then takes Max and goes straight to Chewy's house. He informs Chewy and Carmen about his father's missing. The group goes out to search for him. They go to storage units and find a broken lock. Max smells the lock and guides them the way towards Ray. After roaming around the whole night, the group finally arrive at a secluded place in the jungle. They spot Tyler and his group dealing in weapons with Ray inside their car, held hostage. Sensing the danger, Carmen returns to inform the police while Justin and Chewie remain there to keep an eye on Tyler and the gang. Sadly, the dogs brought by Tyler's associates sense the group's presence and start running towards them. But Max defeats the two dogs yet again. Tyler and Emilio rush towards the woods to find Justin. Meanwhile, seeing Stack alone, Ray manages to attack him and free himself. Soon, Max and Justin arrive there, and the father-son duo have an emotional reunion. However, the danger is still not over, so they make a plan to go through different routes to confuse Tyler. In the meantime, Stack gets inside his car and starts searching for the father-son duo. Soon he spots Ray and tries to run over him. Thus, Ray shoots at the car, causing it disbalance, fall from the ridge and explode. On the other side, Justin is also eventually caught by Tyler, who holds him at gunpoint. He vents his frustration on Justin for ruining his business deal. And then as he gets ready to shoot Justin, Max suddenly attacks him from behind, causing both Tyler and Max fall from the bridge into the river below. Just then, Carmen arrives with the police and all the bad guys are rounded up. In the next scene, Justin and Max are seen standing at Kyle's grave where Justin expresses his affections for him. He also thanks Kyle for leaving a dog like Max for him and then salutes him. After that, when Justin returns home, he finds Carmen and Chewie inside with Pamela preparing for dinner. Finding Max's cage missing from outside the house, Justin inquires Ray about it, to which he replies they don't need it anymore, as Max will be living with them from now on, like a family member. That's all from the movie. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and share with friends. Also hit the subscribe button for more interesting content. See you next time with a new movie. Take care.